इंग्लिश कोर क्लास 12 CBSE, ठीक है। तो फ्लेमिंगो और विस्टास 2 बुक्स है। यूजुअली द चैप्टर्स कम फ्रॉम दिस 2 बुक्स ओनली। यूजुअली नहीं, हर बार ये 2 बुक्स से क्वेश्चन आते हैं। सो इन टर्म 2 देर आर 4 2 chapters and 2 poems from Flamingo and 3 from Vistas. Now we are going to focus on all the important questions of all the chapters in this single video. Okay. Firstly, Rattrap. Rattrap is the most favorite chapter of CBSE, and the questions actually the most of the questions comes from this chapter. And usually the 4-marker question, there are chances that it can come from this chapter. ठीक है, Rattrap. तो first question क्या है? First act of compassion or care. Now what was the first act of compassion? First act of compassion was experienced by the peddler in form of old man's hospitality. ठीक है. Then we will write that despite knowing the fact that he didn't know the peddler and the peddler was danger to him, but still the old man opened his arms and acted charitable by providing food and shelter. He put porridge pot on the fire. He divided a tobacco roll and gave the bigger slice to the protagonist or to the peddler. And he also played games, those cards games. What was the name of the card games? You have to mention. Okay. And then you have to again write that even after becoming so even after showing the sign of compassion, his act of care was not appreciated. Protagonist stole 30 kroner bill from the old man. You can also add, if it comes for the 4-marker question, you can also add that the old man also shared the confidential things as well, his secrets and all. Now second act of care was in form of the old man, was in form of a girl, was from a girl. Okay. She was a daughter of Iron Master who takes pity on the protagonist, despite knowing the fact, again you will mention that he was not Captain Von Stale whom he claimed to be. Still she requested her father to allow him to stay till Christmas. Okay. Then you will write that she treated her just like a captain, and her compassionate words cracked the foundation of the protagonist's clinical world. Okay. The protagonist always believed in the dismal side or the negative side of the human nature, but after her compassionate words, and he had already seen, he usually thought that the world is just a battlefield where everyone is selfish and the world is all about a big rat trap. Okay. He always had that thought. So after his compassion, after the second act of care, the whole belief system was shattered, and he also got the opportunity to enjoy his actually true Christmas. Like, he got the opportunity to enjoy his first true Christmas because of his second act of compassion. Now there are difference between first act of compassion and second act of compassion. What is the basic difference in first act of compassion? The old man was lonely, that is why he became happy to because he got someone to talk to. But in second act of compassion, it was just a selfless care, which was from Edla. Edla was the daughter of blacksmith, or we can write Iron Master. ठीक है. तो देर आर डिफरेंस. फर्स्ट एक्ट ऑफ कंपैशन में थोड़ा सा सेल्फिश चीज़ है, बिकॉज द ओल्ड मैन वॉज अलोन, ही वॉज लोनली, ही हैड नो वाइफ और चिल्ड्रन, ही वॉज ऑल अलोन इन द कॉटेज, सो ही हैड नो वन टू टॉक टू. आइसोलेशन वाले पार्ट में चला जाता है, दैट बिकॉज ऑफ आइसोलेशन ही ऑल्सो बिकेम वेरी हैप्पी बिकॉज ही गॉट इन कंपनी टू टॉक विद समवन, टू spend time with someone. So he also started talking with someone, and after a long time, when you get someone to talk with, then you actually share your confidential things also after a point of time. But in second act of care, it was totally a selfless care, where even after knowing that he is not Captain Von Stale whom he claimed to be, ठीक है, but still she treated her as a captain, ठीक है, instead of treating him as a peddler or a Rattrap seller or a protagonist or anyone. ठीक है. नाउ कैरेक्टर स्केच ऑफ पेडलर, एडला और ओल्ड मैन को कवर कर चुके हैं ऑलरेडी, बट पेडलर में क्या था? कैरेक्टर स्केच ऑफ पेडलर हैड ऑलवेज थॉट अबाउट द has always thought that the world is a big rat trap. He always believed that in the dismal side of the human nature. He has always viewed the world as a battlefield. But after second act of compassion from Edla, his whole belief system got shattered, and he got the opportunity to enjoy his. You can write this line, or else you can skip this line as well, that he got an opportunity to enjoy his first true Christmas. Okay. He became a changed person. He actually wrote a thank you letter and also returned the stolen money. He used to do begging, thievery, and he used to sell rat traps for his survival. He thought that the world is a rat trap, and he believes that the society tempts us with fine things, with richest things, and when we accept it, we are left with nothing, and we are caught into a trap. Okay. in second question it says that in what sense, according to the peddler, the world is a big rat trap. So world is a big, according to him, the world is a big rat trap. The world with lands, the world with village cities are a big rat trap. The society tempts us with riches and fine things, and when we accept it, we are caught into a trap and we are left with nothing. You have to just write this will come for a 2-marker question. Okay. Lastly, why the peddler signed the thank you note as captain? Because he was not Captain Bonsdale, but whom he claimed to be. He was not Captain Bonsdale, but still, Edla treated him as a captain. So he actually signed the letter as captain. Because he was a changed person. He was no more a thief. He was no more going to do any thievery or begging. Hopefully, that's why he signed the letter as captain. You can frame in your words, in better words, and you can write the answer. Now, Indigo chapter is totally based on facts. There is nothing to understand. It's totally facts. ठीक है, हिस्ट्री जैसे होता है वैसे इंडिगो चैप्टर है. एंड देयर यू हैव टू लर्न द डेट, लाइक 1917, 13 एंड ऑल. कौन से डेट में क्या हुआ था, ज़्यादा डेट्स है भी नहीं. फिर कैरेक्टर स्केच ऑफ राजकुमार शुक्ला. फर्स्टली राजकुमार शुक्ला was having that determination, was having that courage to impress Gandhi ji. ठीक है. He was very courageous. He was very determined person. He was not educated. He was a sharecropper, a poor peasant. ठीक है. Then you can also include that how he traveled from one place to another after Gandhi ji, just to convince him to visit the place and end the injustice which was being followed in Champaran. ठीक है. In the summary of the chapter, you have to write that, firstly you have to write that Gandhi ji, it's all about that in 19 there was one year given. You have to specify that year and have to write that it's all about the struggle, how he struggled. It was a year long struggle, that how he did for bringing equality and justice to the poor peasant. The Champaran was divided into large estate, and the owner of the state were Englishmen, and the workers were Indian peasants. ठीक है. Then they were compelled in a agreement, a long term agreement, where they have to plant 15% of their indigo and submit the whole harvest as a rent. ठीक है. But then Germany started developing synthetic indigos. Englishmen didn't want, like the Englishmen, they didn't require the crops anymore, indigo crops anymore. So in order to release them from the agreement, they asked for compensation. Now there were few uneducated poor peasants who agreed with the demand, but unfortunately not, very fortunately actually, there were few peasants who actually knew that whatever they are demanding, the Englishmen are demanding, is wrong, is incorrect. So they didn't agree. One of them was Rajkumar Shukla. He fixes or arranges a meeting with Gandhi ji. Because of his determination and courage, Gandhi ji got impressed and got convinced and bought a ticket to Patna in Bihar. Then he went to Muzaffarpur for getting for gaining more knowledge about the problem. When he went to Muzaffarpur, before going to Muzaffarpur, he went with Rajkumar Shukla to Rajendra Prasad's house. Okay. Now Rajendra Prasad's house he went, and there the servant thought him a peasant. Why the servant thought that him a peasant? This question can also come because his companion was a poor peasant, Rajkumar Shukla, and Gandhiji was also simply dressed. He was wearing a simple dhoti. So the servant also thought that he is also a poor peasant. So he was not asked to draw water from the well. Okay. Then Gandhiji noticed the indiscrimination because of lack of education which was being followed in Champaran, in that village, in that place. Now he went to Muzaffarpur to gain more knowledge about the problem. What was the problem? Now the problem is of indigo. He's only focusing on indigo now. Okay. Then when his the mission or the reason of his arrival spread like a wildfire, many lawyers and poor peasants came in his support. He also criticized the lawyers for taking large amount of fees. Okay. And lawyers also understood that the charges were too high and unreasonable. Charges of Englishmen were too high and unreasonable for the poor peasants to pay. Okay. And then after 1 year long struggle, they got justice. They got only 25% of the compensation, but Gandhi ji was satisfied with it because a part from part of money, they were also returning a part of their prestige too. And from that, the poor peasants were getting the ability, or they were getting the courage to fight against their fear, to fight for their rights. They taught a lesson, like Gandhiji taught them a lesson of self-confidence and self-sufficiency. In this year long, Gandhiji also built primary schools, developed primary schools in 6 villages. He worked for the hygiene of the families of poor peasants. Okay. His wife Kasturbai, she actually did a lot for the hygiene of the families. Like she used to teach them about the sanitation part. Okay. And Devdas was the youngest son of Gandhiji. So he also helped his mother and his father in this, and Gandhiji also appointed a doctor to provide the families of the poor peasants with their services, at least for 6 months. Okay, you have to write so much. If the question comes about indigo, if you know everything, these things, you can make a point and you can write it. Actually, you have to write it in para, but you can the key terms as of now you can make a point, and in answer script you can frame the answer in your words and write it beautifully. Now, A Thing of Beauty and Aunt Jennifer are the two poems, and these were the two chapters, Indigo and Rattrap. Rattrap par ke jana, that is the most important chapter, the most favorite question, the most favorite chapter of CBSE, and the most of the questions come from this chapter. Most of the question नहीं, पर ये chapter बहुत important है बस. A Thing of Beauty is a tougher poem comparatively. If we compare it with Aunt Jennifer काफ़ी easy poem है, but A Thing of Beauty comparatively tough है. A Thing of Beauty जो है उसमें समरी को पढ़ना ज़रूरी है, और स्पेशली द ग्रैंडियर पार्ट को. ग्रैंडियर क्या है ना, वो ग्रैंडियर ऑफ डूम्स आर बेसिकली रेफर टू द माइटी डेड्स, टू द मिथिकल हीरोज हु हैव सैक्रिफाइस्ड देयर लाइव्स for the mankind, for the other people, for the mankind who has sacrificed their lives for the for the noble cause, we can say. ठीक है, and contributed to the mankind. और फिर लिख सकते हैं कि वो एक इनडायरेक्ट कंपैरिजन कंपेयर कर रहा है, जैसे कि उनका डूम्स भी जो है वो ग्रैंड और ठीक है, उनको वो मर गए हैं तो उनका जो डूम्स भी है वो ग्रैंड है. वो वाला जो पार्ट है, वो लाइन है, उसका 6 से पढ़ लेना कि क्वेश्चन आएगा ही. ये प्री बोर्ड में आ सकता है, नहीं तो ये बोर्ड में आ सकता है, नहीं तो ये सैम्पल क्वेश्चन में आ सकता है, या फिर कहीं ना कहीं तो ये क्वेश्चन आएगा ग्रैंडियर ऑफ द डूम्स 100%. ठीक है. नाउ आंट जेनिफर टाइगर्स में से भी बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन आते हैं, जैसे कि आंट जेनिफर व्हाई शी क्रिएटेड अ टाइगर व्हिच वाज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम अ कैरेक्टर बिकॉज शी फाउंड अ मीन्स इन लिविंग एन ऑल्टरनेट लाइफ. Tiger like she wanted to be brave like a tiger, and tiger was her she had a desire to be free from the oppression which controls her life. ठीक है, तो she wanted to be free and freely roam, being a strong person, and she was actually not a strong person because she didn't have the courage to fight against her husband. ठीक है, तो वो सारी चीज़ लिखना है कि टाइगर जैसे स्ट्रॉन्ग होता है, जैसे ब्रेव होता है, वैसे ही वो जेनिफर भी बनना चाहती थी, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो नहीं बन पाती है. ठीक है, वाई बन नहीं पाती है ये मेंशन नहीं किया हुआ है, पर अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो ऐसी नहीं है. ठीक है, उसका हैंड शिवर क्यों कर रहा था वाइल knitting, बिकॉज फर्स्ट रीज़न था कि it focuses on her age. ठीक है, it reflects on her age. She has become an old woman. Secondly, she is scared of her husband who could come at any moment and scold her for wasting time on knitting. ठीक है, and her marriage ring seems to be very heavy for her to handle, and because of that she can't even pull a ivory needle for embroidery. ठीक है, why it seems to be very very heavy to handle, because it symbolizes the heavy marital responsibilities which she is burdened from. ठीक है, why she chose tigers for knitting, as I said before, because tigers are brave, they are strong, they are fearless, they are running on panels with confidence. That's all. Character sketch of Aunt Jennifer is a timid woman who didn't have the courage to fight against her husband. She is going through with the oppression which controls her life, and we can write that she likes her knitting, she gets happiness in embroidery and all. ये क्वेश्चन छूट गया कि जेनिफर जो है वो रिप्रेजेंट किसको करती है, तो वो रिप्रेजेंट करती है वो सारे ओप्रेस्ड वुमेन इन द सोसाइटी हु इज सफरिंग फ्रॉम देयर suffocating marriage where their independence and individuality has been robbed. Now Vistas से should wizard hit mommy on the face of it, and Ivan tries an O level जो है we'll do it in second part because बहुत बड़ा हो जाएगा वीडियो, and till now we have only focused on flamingo, and this was a part 1 video, and that's all. And I know if you're watching this video, and I just want to wish you all the best for your exams, and you have actually not wasted your time. This 20 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever you have spent on watching this video, you have actually utilized your time for getting good marks. Believe me, the questions are going to come from this part, and this was a really important video.